my mindset is what's the least that I could use and still get a significant benefit from. Over the years since I retired more than 10 years ago, I've tried little shorter cycles where I might throw in some Masteron or increase the Anavar. And I didn't see a significant increase, at that level. I would think you would probably need to use significantly more and more calories for me to perform anywhere near the level of competition. Let me touch on that a little bit too. Since we talked about all the old competitive days, and I'm talking about the blood tests, and I'm 55 now. I still maintain a high level of fitness and strength, but I found that I always say it's twice as hard to gain, half as hard to maintain.
Yeah.
And these days, I kind of compete with myself to see how little I need to do. To be honest with you, I only have to lift reasonably heavy, much less often, and I do a lot more.
Reasonably heavy. 5
I don't
plates.
do that very often.
What are your good mornings? Sometimes I see you do.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell?
But the trick there is it's all concentric. I deload the eccentric by dropping it into the racks. The same with the box squat. It's all concentric. But more importantly is the stuff I do in between that I don't really videotape. Is that I'll do a lot of I'll do the bike, and I'll do concentric work. You've seen me run stairs for years. I've always liked the concentric portion of that rather than the eccentric braking force of running. I always thought that would accumulate too much fatigue for me to recover from the workouts. It would just add too much into the total bucket of fatigue. And I'm also doing a lot of like sled drags and things like that. Just a lot of the stuff that Louis Simmons did kind of, throughout his career, he was constantly moving.
It's still challenging stuff, and it's,
a lot of low fatigue stuff, like chest supported rows and lat pull downs instead of bent over rows, just less stress on the lumbar. I don't deadlift that heavy that often. I was only pulling heavy once a month. And in between that time, I was using, box
But didn't you do
squats.
like 6-plate deadlift recently?
Yeah, something like that. But again, the frequency and the volume matter. The intensity is certainly there occasionally, but you can recover from it if you prepare for it properly. And then aside from that, of course, I've always ate the way I've eaten, slept the way I've slept. That's just kind of a habit for me now, is to be very disciplined in that regard. And then as for the performance enhancing drugs, I found I can never touch any orals anymore. Occasionally, if I get swirly, I can maybe do a 10 milligram Anavar under the tongue, sublingual, just so I don't see any AST, ALT effects. But it would just be for a brief period of time if I was trying to do something. And then I can get away these days with about 50 milligrams of test every other day. And that'll keep my testosterone. If I test my testosterone levels the day after a shot, they'll be north of 1,300, 1,400 sometimes, maybe 17, just from 50 milligrams every other day. If I wait 3 days, then I'm down around 900, just before the blood test. And aside from that, I don't use GH. It's always caused insulin resistance for me, and so I've avoided it. I don't really have any problems with IGF-1. I get my blood tested, so I don't feel like there's a deficiency there necessarily. I didn't like using Sermorelin and Ipamorelin either. I sampled that, and I just didn't see the benefit, particularly the cost associated with it. And I just, again, my mindset is what's the least that I could use and still get a significant benefit from. And over the years since I've retired more than 10 years ago, I've tried little shorter cycles where I might throw in some Masteron or increase the Anavar. And I didn't see a significant increase, at that level. I would think you would probably need to use significantly more and more calories, in order for me to perform anywhere near the level of competition. But I don't think
do you want that at this point? Because
I don't.
If you go up, like I'm always conflicted with this as well. I've had my time where I was just a beast, walking around like an absolute tank and just destroying all the weights and destroying my mood in the process. And now looking back on it, it's like it was like for that 1.5 hours that you're in the gym, you're an absolute god. It's the best 1.5 hours out of the day, and then the rest you're kind of impaired, but also emotionally and productivity wise, you're a little bit agitated. Whether that's from the drugs or just this chronic fight or flight state that you're in. And now I realize, you know what, I can actually maintain quite a bit on HCG, no less. HCG and recombinant follicle stimulating hormone.
Yep.
And will I go back on TRT? Of course, because it's cheaper and my blood levels will be a little bit higher because now I'm about 600, 800, depending on when I test. So it's not optimal, but I'm still sustaining my strength, you know, decent amount, and my physique. Okay, I did lose 40 pounds, but it's the 40 pounds that was probably not good for my health anyway. So in that sense, it's quite surprising.
As did I. I did the same thing. I dropped about 40, 50 pounds after I stopped competing. That put the biggest dent in my strength. I mean, you know, bench press in particular goes up and down with body weight. And so when I came from 285 to 240, or at one point I was down to 235, I kind of hang out. I've been between 235 and 240, 242 for 10 years.
Right.
So, you know, I just don't have any aspirations to be any bigger. And matter of fact, I was more recently thinking about dieting down to 220 just to see how it felt. You know,
I feel good now at 200. It's very small, you know, but I'm lean. I have a six pack and some lines in my glutes and good separation everywhere. So in that sense, it's actually very comfortable. And you notice that sleep quality improves, you know, energy levels. Like I can do more stuff, you know, I can walk stairs if I wanted to for hours, like climb mountains, and it's such a huge difference, you know. But yeah, on the other side, that 1 hour in the gym, you miss it a little bit, you know. I will say that.
But I agree with you. I think more energy is one thing, although I don't feel incredibly, I don't feel tired. But again, I think a lot of that was from DOMs, from the heavy sessions that I used to do more often. Now I only train every other day. I'll do lower body day off, upper body day off. And again, I do a lot of the exercises that don't involve a lot of pain, although 2 days ago, my training partner made me walk 200 yards of walking lunges.
I saw that.
And I don't do lunges that often. And so, of course, it's a novel stimulus, and my legs and ass are just totally torn apart now.
Jelly, yeah.
But other than that, you know, occasionally I'll do some stupid shit, but again, novel stimulus.
And this was and now it's like high summer, right, in Vegas? So,
it's not bad. We're not over 100 yet. This is still we're still low 90s, so that's pretty good.
If I do it here, with the humidity, I would die doing that much lunges. It's that bad right now.
It's not bad here. I can't do humidity, that's for sure. Okay. But I guess the biggest reason I would think to drop the weight, like you mentioned, you probably have a lot more energy. I mean, I've got probably have a 40-pound meat sack on me, and I'm lean. I mean, I've got a six pack. I'm lean. You know, I got veins in my abs, and I've always been lean. You know, that's not a problem for me. I had a hard time gaining weight, not losing weight. So I can't be over 10% body fat. I probably haven't been in 10 years. So it's really not any of that. It's just the fact that I do carry around a lot of heavy weight, and I'm not a big guy. I mean, I know it's hard to hear coming from me, but when you see that picture of me at 21 years old at 158 pounds, you realize
come a long way.
And my pops played tennis in college weighing 155. You know, I'm not a big guy necessarily. I carry a lot of muscle, and it's not hard for me. You know, my training protocol is pretty sustainable, and I've gotten so good at the eating, even when I travel. You know, prepping meals, packing meals, whatever. As long as I eat enough, and I have, you know, set up the meals in such a way that it's easy to consume, I still have to take in over 4,500 calories a day, or I'll lose weight.
Oh wow. Okay,
so I eat about 4,000 to 1,200 calorie meals a day, pretty consistently, 4,500 calories every single day. And if I eat less, I'll lose weight.